Okay, we are here. I have kind of tidied up the garage. I'd been working on this pig for a few days when I had a chance. And anyways, it was a mess here, so I've got it cleaned up so that we can work and film. I'm going to be running the time lapse so that, I had a couple people tell me that maybe I shouldn't run so much time lapse so that people can see what you're doing. Unfortunately, this, I have to ask myself, what it is I'm trying to do, and this is more of a documentation video than a tutorial. I can get into some tutorials later. I'm not really great at tutorial videos explaining how to do things, but in any case, this one right here is just a documentation video, so I don't want to bore people with all the particulars of what I'm doing to get this thing to where we want it. But today we're looking to finish the engine, hopefully. We don't know. Whenever you get into these type of projects, you just don't know what you're getting into. Like I said, there's a lot of nuts and bolts I don't even know about yet. The engine was pretty complete. We have several boxes full of parts and stuff. There's a box over there too. Box that the bike came with, some parts that we've ordered. And you just don't know what you're getting into when you get these things. Fortunately, the price was right. We picked it up for 300 bucks. I added 25 bucks for the stand and the guy threw that in. We wanted the bike because it was the right era bike. I had started a thought in one of the earlier videos I never finished. So this guy had two rolling chassis. He had an 87, which is a preferred. I like the mid 80s. I think they're worth more now, the bikes are. And then he had a 1990 rolling chassis. The problem was he had one motor. And the 1990 motor, he said, would fit in the 87. It's just a little tight. You would need to shim it. And as soon as he said all that, I mean, to me, I'd rather have a correct bike than an 87 with a 1990 motor in it. So to keep the bike correct, I chose the 1990 rolling frame, and with it came the correct engine. He said the 87, the 1990 motor would fit in the 87. I would have to shim it a little bit or something. He said it would easily fit. You would have to tweak it just a little bit. But I didn't like the idea of having an 87 chassis with a 90 motor in it. I'd rather keep the bike correct. Even though I like the 87 year better, I went with the 1990. So that's what we have, and we came, it came with a box of parts and whatnot, and that's what we're working on, We're still rummaging through the parts. Some things we have, some things we don't. And like I said before, the hardest part about this project is not having, it didn't come with any nuts and bolts, so we've been kind of winging it. But I do always manage to get the correct nuts and bolts. I don't just put anything anywhere. We always get the correct stuff. So we'll see. Let's get started on doing the motor first. I have the caliper here kind of started. We'll get into that later, but since I've got the parts for the engine, we'll get into that first. So let's get into the time lapse and see what we can accomplish today. We'll see you in a bit.
These trucks have to be the exact same. If they're not.
Okay, we're back. I had to take the time lapse off because we had to go to the hardware and get some stuff. We got the motor just about done, and we put the head gasket on. I have to look up the torque specs on this thing. I had to get new head nuts there. I had to put the studs down. It wasn't too bad, but we had to take a break. We had to go to the hardware, get some stuff, and then I had to stop at the house and help Mama with some stuff. We're gonna turn the time lapse on and get right back to it. We'll see you in a bit. Okay, quick update. I'm gonna shut the time lapse off because we've run into our first snag. This stud is stripped in here. When I went to tighten down the head, it started pulling this thing right up through. The other three were fine. This 1, 2, 3 were fine. This one just wouldn't tighten, and I noticed it was starting to pull it up. So I stopped it, of course, but it's not going to work. So we're going to go to the hardware, and we're going to have to tap that to the next size up in a standard fine thread and see if we can get another stud or something like this. And I don't know. We'll have to go from there, I guess. That's all we can do. So we're going to go ahead and shut the time lapse off. We'll do that right now. Okay. This is our first real snag. We'll see if we can come out of this. The only problem is you don't always get what you want from the hardware store. So, and then I see this is flanged. So it's not even like I can get a standard nut or a standard bolt and cut it and make that work. This part is flanged. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see you in a bit.
What's going on?
What's up, man? I'm filming.
Oh, you're filming?
Yeah, just give me 1 second. Okay, so I came back from the hardware, and this is what we got. I'm going with the 3/8 24 stud, and we're going to tap it. That portion right there is going to go into the cylinder. This is what's going to hold the head down, and we're going to Loctite this. That's about the only real way to fix this, other than, you know, getting into major machine work. So we're not going to do it that way. This should take care of it. We're going to Loctite it, get this down into the cylinder. We're going to tap it very carefully. So it's got to be straight and straight down. So we're going to do that, and I'll have all of it on time lapse. So again, it's not a tutorial video, so I know some people have asked if I can not do so much time lapse, but unfortunately this is more of a documentation rather than a tutorial. So we'll do more tutorials in the future, but right now this project, the RM80 project, is a documentation. So we'll see you in a bit. Okay, well, we've got the motor buttoned up. I ran into problems, as you guys know. I'll pick it up from here tomorrow. I was trying to do a compression test on it, and it wasn't working because the way the motor's in there, the compression hose was going in at an angle, and I did get it in there one time, but the gauge showed that it kept leaking the air. It feels a lot better with just the spark plug in it, as you can see. I'll kick on it here. So it's got a lot more compression with the spark plug than it did with the compression fittings, and I was afraid of going in at an angle. It was too much of a bend for the hose. See, the hose would have to go in, and then, so I didn't like that. So I did want to do a compression test, but we'll just start it. It feels like it's got a pretty good amount of pressure on it now. We'll come back tomorrow, try to wrap it up, see what else problems we run into. Yesterday, I went into this thing knowing there was going to be some holdups, and we found out what those were. We got that on there, but I was able to tighten everything and get it to torque to spec, so hopefully, you know, that holds. We'll find out. Hopefully we don't run into any snags tomorrow, and we can try to start it. We'll hopefully see you tomorrow. Have a good evening. Okay, I've cleaned up again, kind of reset from yesterday. We had kind of a hard day yesterday. We ran into a stud issue on the cylinder. It took up a lot of time. Then we had a birthday party to go to, all the regular life stuff. So we got the top end put together. It seems to have pretty good compression. We're gonna try to tie everything up today. Hopefully we don't run into any snags. Just kick on it.
I can kick on my left. It's hard to. I can.
Kick it hard. Kick it hard. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
So anyways, our goal today is to tie up the rest of the motor and focus on some of the details. We want to get the cover on. We want to get to.
You don't know.
The other thing is, you know, I don't know. We may run into pieces we don't have or we can't find, or, you know, that's the other step to this. So we want to get the reeds on. We want to get the carb on, the radiator on. Want to get all these pieces on and kind of go from there. You know, this is where we're going to see what we have, what we don't have, and just. And kind of wade through all of this.
And today we're gonna start with that big box. We're gonna probably start digging through.
We're gonna dig through all of that stuff.
And we have to take all that stuff down.
Yeah, we've got plenty of boxes here. We have a tote and some stuff there. It's a little dark there, but that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna.
And we could not check the compression because this.
I already talked about that. Yeah.
Oh. Well.
Yeah, because the way the motor is that hose was coming in at a 90-degree angle, and it was very hard to keep it straight. And I'm very scared of stripping stuff. It was not going in straight, so I just said, heck with it. I put my thumb over it first, and I pushed it hard with my hand and blew my thumb right off the spark plug hole, so I knew there's compression there. So then I put the plug in it, and it seems to have really good resistance, so I don't need a number. That's fine. Let's see how it performs. If it's got good compression, here's the thing about compression. If it's got good compression, it should sit there and idle. If it has a hard time idling, well, first of all, if it has a very hard time starting, that's a sign the compression is not good, which I don't see that as a problem. Yeah. There's a lot of resistance there. Yeah, and the second thing is, if your compression is low, it might start, but it's going to have a hard time idling. It won't sit there.
The XR, he could literally start it. He's like.
Yeah, and then it'll run on its own. If it's got enough compression, it'll run on its own. If it doesn't have compression, it'll only run when you give it gas. So the RPMs go up and it builds up pressure, and that's the only way it can stay running. So we'll find out, you know. But I don't expect to see that as an issue here. So once I saw the amount of resistance on the Kickstarter, I guess I didn't really need to know a number. It's fine. And the way my day was going yesterday with things stripping and stuff, I didn't want to chance it. So
that's the last thing. I want to strip in this hole.
No, I said piss on it, and I don't need a number. It's fine. It's got good resistance, and you got to understand, when you're talking little pistons like that. I've had friends with 125s that they can kickstart them with their hand almost, but that's a volume thing. You know, when you're talking big 600cc 4-strokes. You're not going to be able to kick that over with your hand, you know.
Yeah, right.
But it might have the same PSI. That might be 150 PSI, and this might be 150 PSI. But when you're talking the amount of volume, that's going to be much harder to kick. It doesn't have much volume, so you can still kick it. So
yeah, it's
okay,
so small.
My battery's going to die, so we're going to move on. We're going to start working. We'll see you in a bit. Okay, this is about as far as we've gotten. There's Faison sitting on the bike. And
so, I'll tell you what we got. We got the car, we got the cap, or the... Yeah,
cover.
Yeah, we got the cover, car, shock we had to flip over. You probably didn't even know on the thing because we did it so quickly.
That was difficult. Our shock was on wrong, so we flipped that over.
That was pretty easy. And,
we got the wiring done. It's got great spark. It's got really good compression.
We should have recorded the spark.
That's okay.
But and we put that tusk right there.
I will. I will.
And what else? We got quite a bit.
We got the exhaust on.
Yeah, we got the exhaust on, and we got this. Look at the camera. We got this touch screen. I don't know what you call it.
Camera's getting wet, so I'm gonna get back inside here.
And we found out we need the power valve cap. We're gonna put. My dad ordered that, and we are missing show them though. We're missing a piece, the carb hook piece.
Yeah, this piece, the air filter.
Yeah.
There's a piece that goes right over this cover, or this circle part. That's missing, so we're gonna see what we can find there. It needs a new foam filter.
Yep.
Then we have to take the subframe off and slip
we are
this in
missing
there.
a front sprocket. We got the back sprocket, but
yeah,
front sprocket we don't have it.
Front sprocket we knew about. We just forgot to order it.
Yeah, and obviously we got a gold chain for this because you can't have this without a gold chain.
Yeah, we got a new chain.
And you probably noticed all of our videos we just went with this, and are we gonna get a new kill switch?
Yeah, the kill switch does not have the bottom bracket on it to mount to the handlebars, and I don't think they sell those clips by themselves.
No,
so
they don't do that.
I'll just end up getting another kill switch.
They're like $10, right?
Yeah, they're $6-7. That's
and
then we'll be able to. Oh, and then I gotta finish the caliper. I did a goof on this caliper. I was noticing the other day. I put the piston in backwards, so I gotta get that off, get that fixed, and then we'll mount it. We don't have the front brake caliper mount, so I may have to fabricate something. We have this guy right here, but this is for the rear, and it will not, as far as I know, it's not going to. I'll have to mess with it. It's not going to mount on the front, so I don't know exactly where all of that's going.
And the compression works good on this.
It's got really good compression, yeah.
It's good compression, and
you can't really kick it hard with slippers because that.
Oh, I can kick it hard with slippers.
Yeah.
But this is light.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, I just stuck.
We did the wiring, so what we're gonna do maybe tonight is
stick the decals on the plastics. It's in the box. You can't really
we'll
see
probably get the decals on the plastic.
And tomorrow we might. Oh, tomorrow's Monday.
No, we probably won't do much until next weekend.
Yeah, but. And next weekend when we're getting serious like this, we maybe stick the plastics on.
We can probably get the. We'll see.
Because you don't want it to get dirty.
Yeah, we'll see how much we get done on the bike. I mean, if I get enough done on the bottom part of it, then we can put the plastic on, so we don't have to take them back off. But
yeah, so we're slowly getting better and better. So
it's getting closer. So
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see you maybe later tonight if we do the decals.
Yep. Time lapse.
Have a good afternoon.